Hey, folks, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the four things I'm doing at the end of 2023 to prep for 2024. To get into it, the first thing we're doing is opening a high yield savings account. Number two, reviewing our retirement contributions and doing analysis of that. Number three, we're going through our investment portfolio and doing an analysis to figure out what has changed and see if we need to make some adjustments. And lastly, number four, we are doing estate planning updating. If you're interested in any of these things, stick around. You'll get a lot of value from this video. Hey, folks, you've entered the Black Parent Finance YouTube channel where we talk about Black money, parenting, and building a legacy for our families in the future. My name is Brian Owens. I have been working in the finance technology sector for the last 5 years and have been an entrepreneur, engineer, author, and a number of other things on my resume. Again, I am a Black dad. I have my wife, Kambari Owens. We have 3 children, and I'm here wanting to build wealth for my family. So this is what this channel is all about. So if you're a Black parent and you're interested in this type of content, make sure you like and subscribe, and we can knock this out and build wealth together. Okay, so today what I want to talk about is high interest savings accounts and making sure that you have one open for 2024. So my thing is, I'm all about high interest savings accounts. I think there's a number of buckets that you need to make sure you have when it comes to savings. You need to have an emergency fund set up, which is like, really 1 to 6 months, even 12 months worth of savings. I actually like to keep that in a high interest savings account, like something that you can easily transfer money over. If there is an emergency that you need to take care of and you have to put it over to your checking account, you want to have a seamless transaction there, but money that you're just poured into every single time. So we're going to talk about very quickly high interest savings account. I'm on a Nerd Wallet website, and one of the things that they're seeing currently right now is they say like best high interest savings accounts for 2024 that you may want to open, right? So if you kind of like go down a little bit further on this particular website, I'll make sure I put this website inside of the description below so you can actually decide which one could be right for you. But typically your Bank of America, Chase, so on and so forth, are giving you like a measly a percentage on your money. You want to make sure your money's working more for you. I just helped my parents set these up for themselves. And now in 2024, they're going to be earning much more on their money, and getting a good amount when it comes to, what they're getting the interest every single year and every single month, right? Like, so, but kind of going down, so I'm like, all right, so here are some of the best ones that NerdWallet has on their site. Now, they say from our partners, just, be careful of that a little bit and make sure you're going into something that actually, but I just want to give you an example here. Like right now, SoFi is paying, 4.5, or, a little bit over 4.5, and they have a $300 bonus. If you also switch over to direct deposit, Barclays is doing 4.35%. Citibank, and most of these are online savings accounts. Okay, so they're online savings accounts. We want to make sure that most of them do not have branches. So just make sure you're aware of that. And this is money that you're gonna set up with your main bank account and be able to move money over, right? Like say, hey, checking account, I can go in to that branch and I can do whatever banking services I need. But in this case, this is just you want to sit money over there just to accrue interest. Every day you're accruing a little bit more money. So it looks like Citibank has 5.05%, APY. Everbank, which I've never really heard of, but they have, fairly high ratings, 5.15%, all the way down to Synchrony Bank at 5.75%, right? So like, looks like the highest here is 5.15%. Do your research on these banks themselves. Looks like they have pretty high ratings on the side here. Looks like the Amex high yield savings account is the lowest, out of 5. But make sure you do a little bit of research. But what I want to make sure that I really emphasize here is that you're opening one in 2024. If you don't have one today, make sure your money is working for you. You're trying to, build that emergency fund. You're trying to save for a vacation. You're trying to save for other things that's happening inside your life or car or whatever. Open up a high interest savings account. It helps accelerate the growth of your money. Okay. I just want to share that really quick. But this is one of the things that I make sure that I always do, and look for the ones that are giving you the highest interest rate. I look for these every single year. If I'm not getting the highest interest rate, then I may move to a different bank that's giving me a higher interest rate. Right? So that's one of the things I do at the end of the year, just to make sure I'm on track and keeping my money working at the highest level every single year. So next thing I typically do in this situation, I go through what my retirement accounts, right? And I look at, have I reached my contribution maximums at the end of the year? So I look at that, and if I have any extra dollars that I don't want to direct to a more opportunistic place, such as credit card debt or anything like that, high interest loans, see what you're eligible for tax credits for upcoming year. Because the things that you contribute, you get a tax credit on when it comes to Roth IRAs and 401ks and things of that nature, right? So make sure you consult a tax professional to make sure, to see what you're eligible, based on your income, right? And it depends on what your individual or household, income is, in order to see what you qualify for. Again, so make sure that that's what I typically do. And, in that the case, I say, okay, I have $2,500. I can still put towards that. That's going to give me a tax credit at the end of the year, in my current situation. And that's some things I can do there. Like, especially Roth IRAs are probably the easiest one to do if you're eligible and you're do that. Now, if you want to know more about Roth IRAs and how they work, we can talk about that in a different video. But this is one of the things I kind of go through, is just looking at my tax situation. How much have I contributed in this current year? And if in this last week here, I see if there's an opportunity to contribute a little bit more, just to see if there's additional tax credits I can get for the following year. All right, so let's talk about looking at your investment portfolio holistically and where your contributions are, right? So you want to look at it from a perspective of a pie chart. What inside your investment portfolio is in real estate, is in equities, is in commodities, is in cryptocurrency, is in artwork, or wine, or some type of alternative. You want to be able to actually put it on a pie chart and see what your numbers are. There's a number of different things you can look up, more information. I can put some things inside the description here below, some different links. But you want to see if you're comfortable with your current position, because things change over time, right? The value of things change over time. So for example, you may have, like I wanted to this year, invest more in real estate and build up my real estate portfolio. Within that real estate portfolio, that can then have an outsized position inside your total investment portfolio. So or for example, equities may have just risen quite a bit, like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Those have actually risen this year a little bit, and can then, the value of that could overshadow some of the other positions. So for example, some people like to do, 60-40 split when it comes to bonds. Others like to have, 5% in cryptocurrency and, maybe 15% in real estate, and then have the rest of the 80% in between bonds and stocks. If you're a young person, you can have like an 80-20 thing, where you have 15% inside of real estate, you have another 5% in cryptocurrency, and then have 80% in the equity market. Do your own research to figure out what's comfortable for you. But if those things have changed throughout 2023, right? So now, for example, just say we just did that 80-15-5 breakdown there. We have 80% equities, you have 15% in real estate, and another 5% in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has now kind of risen up a little in this last few months of the year, and maybe that's gone from 5% to 8%. Maybe you don't want to be that way, and there's a number of ways you can do this, right? You can either invest more into some other area to where that you can contribute a little bit less into the total portfolio, or you can then, sell off a little bit. Now, there's something else called tax loss harvesting. If you have individual stocks inside your portfolio that you're looking at and you're saying like, man, I just took like a 50% loss on this thing. There's something called tax loss harvesting to where you can sell off some of your losing positions and then absorb those losses to reduce your adjusted gross income, coming in for next year. If you just say, for example, have increased your income, talk to your CPA. There could be additional strategies you can use for your personal situation. This is a good time, like the last 2 weeks or so of the year, to start looking at these strategies to figure out what makes the most sense for you. Are there things that you can do inside your your holistic investment portfolio to make sure you're still staying balanced? You're not over allocated in one area or another. Like right now, mine is very heavily allocated inside real estate, which I kind of want to get out of and start, getting more into equities. Before it was equity heavy and now it's real estate heavy. So I have to do some switching around myself in order to kind of rebalance it out. That way you're just not overexposed in one area that, makes you a little bit less comfortable when it comes to swings inside the market or whatever. And you're not as exposed to that, and you stay balanced, right? So like, just keep that in mind when it comes to looking at the whole thing. It's best to put it on a spreadsheet and just list it down when it comes to various things that you can do in order to balance you back out. Again, it could mean if you want to invest more, you can invest more in one area to boost that percentage, or you can sell off in other areas in order to balance it out a little bit better. I can actually put some of these links inside of the comments below so you can be aware of what to look for in some of these different situations. Now, this is the last one here, and I love talking about this topic because it's not talked about enough, and this is estate planning. When you're doing estate planning, it's good to check it every year or bi-yearly, every 6 months, just to kind of go through what your current situation is, because we just never know when our end of life happens. It's pretty random for most individuals, and this is things that you want to keep updated to make sure your family is set up for success if the worst were to happen, right? So this is one of the things we want to make sure. So at the end of the year, it's a good time to go through your various accounts, whether it be life insurance, your investment portfolios, all these various things, and ensure that your beneficiaries are set up the way that you want them to be, and they have all the right information in there. Just making sure that you're good to go when it comes to those things. And if you want to make a change, this is a good time to make a change. Making sure that you're doing this, the end of the year is a good period to make sure that those things are taken care of. The next thing is making sure that, you have life insurance, right? Like, life insurance is something extremely important. Too many of our Black families right now, they have an end of life event, and then, you're set up with the bills and debt and, even the funeral expenses and things like that. And it's just a sad situation for a lot of families because no one was expecting it. This is something you want to make sure that you are considering and making sure that you have. So like, one of the things that I do more specifically is go through my accounts. So I have a document that I have that has like, you want to put all your account information on there in order and you want to keep it in a really, really safe place, right? A safe place, but you want to have this a part of a will. So that if an end of life event happens, the courts are not deciding who gets the assets that you have accumulated throughout your life. So make sure you have these things, develop. If it's good for you, you can go talk to a lawyer about this and go through and make sure that they have the information they need in order for your spouse or someone else in your family to easily take that information and be able to access the various things they need to access for your accounts, right? So one of the good things to do, you can use a 1Password or LastPass. A lot of us have tons of accounts online. You want to make sure that you can just easily pass that information to the next person so they can then manage, close, or do whatever they need to do with some of these accounts and access your information very easily. For life insurance, again, make sure you have life insurance if you have dependents. It is extremely important. If people are depending on you, obviously this is the Black Parent Finance channel. So if you're looking at this, it's a good chance that you're a Black parent. Make sure you have life insurance. so to take care of your loved ones in the case of something happening, right? So like, this is a good time to do that. Policy Genius is not a sponsor of this YouTube channel, but Policy Genius, I actually just used them and had a very, very positive experience with them in order to go through and get some additional life insurance for myself. But that is a good site to use, and they can evaluate what is the best for your particular situation. And to get a term plan, I personally recommend term plans. I think they are great for this, to keep your money and allow you to also keep building wealth on, outside of like a life insurance plan. But again, if something were to happen within that window, you are covered. And it's for some individuals that may be looking at this, a trust may also be something that you may want to consider. Again, this is something I would want to talk to a lawyer about, just to see if your situation is optimal to create a trust for. Trusts are a little bit more expensive to create, and these things are something that you want to make sure you evaluate more properly. Speak with some professionals about whether or not this is something you want to consider for your particular situation. Again, one of the things I can't stress enough, make sure you have life insurance. If you're a parent, you have dependents, you have people that are you have to care for, make sure you have life insurance. Policy Genius is a great place to do that. Create a will, right? Create a will. Make sure you have one in hand. That way, if something happens, with all the information you need to pass on to the next person, make sure they know where this information is and has easy access to it. During this time, what I do is I go line by line inside of my will to make sure it has the most up-to-date information for my current situation, right? And like I said, this is what's good by doing it 2 times a year. One time in December, one time in around June or July, just because, and we may add accounts, we may delete accounts. And that way, if something happens, your loved one has the most up-to-date information at that point in time. Those are some of the things that I look at, every year. If you know more or you have more suggestions of things that you should do, like the last week or, at the end of the year, to kind of review your financial situation, please put in the comments below. I would love to hear them, because I'm always looking for more things to make sure that I'm in a good situation, at the end of the year, for kind of like getting my planning going in the beginning of the new year. So would love to hear those suggestions. If I missed anything, put your comments down below. Hey folks, I just want to thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. It's going to help us tremendously when we're actually going through the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to know, I also have a club that helps Black parents with personal finance and actually achieve their goals, called the Pumpernickel Club, that you can check out inside the description below. If you're interested. So again, like and subscribe, check out the Pumpernickel Club, and we can build wealth together.